Well, as we all know, President Trump has federalized the police force in Washington, D.C., and trying to clean up that city's massive and extreme crime wave. He was scheduled to go on patrol with federal law enforcement on Thursday, but it didn't quite happen for logistical reasons, which we'll learn about in a moment. But he did meet with police and military members in Washington, D.C., those who are responding to the crime emergency in that city. Joining me this time to comment and take us behind the scenes and give us insight into this is the founder and president and CEO of InvestUSA.org. Excuse me, InvestUSA, their website is .org. Uh, it's a national grassroots nonprofit that raises money for police vests for police departments around the country and around the world. Believe it or not, police vests, bulletproof vests, were one of the first items to go when we saw budget cuts in police departments. By the way, he is also a former gold medalist in the Olympics in weightlifting. Let's welcome Michael Letts. Michael, good to see you again.
Well, it's always a privilege to be with you, Rick. Thank you for the opportunity. And, just what you said is exactly correct. We have the president, first of all, did a wonderful thing for law enforcement. After dealing with 4.5 years of being scourged, being spat upon, everything else, you name it. And then you would wonder why anybody would want to do the job when we're paying them so little. They're putting their lives on the line literally every day. They don't know if they're coming home to their families or not. And they have to tolerate that abuse, and they feel like nobody cares. So for the president of the United States to come out and actually be on the scenes, be out with the guys, made such an impact that it was just overwhelming. I mean, what it does for their morale, just huge. So there were some questions that he wanted to. The president is, as you know, hands-on. He's demonstrated that for quite some time, and he wanted to get out and in the field itself, get out of the vehicle. I'm not so sure if he was going to tackle somebody that was a criminal running or not. But obviously, by being the president of the United States, it posed some logistical issues. First of all, he can't do a ride alone because our vehicles, police vehicles, are not armor plated,
Oh,
and
makes sense.
that creates a real problem for security. Plus, when you're coming up on a scene, we want to make sure that the scene is secured before the president were to get out. It would jeopardize his safety. By the time you've got the scene secured, you pretty much are an afterthought, shall we say. So the best thing for him to do was he go in, he met with all those who are providing additional security, National Guard members, federal law enforcement, and the DC police, did what he does best, make sure he brought them all to dinner, pizza and hamburgers, and then, told them how much he valued their service. And I think he just made a huge difference for the morale of law enforcement. And there's a reason behind this that I think sometimes our general population is missing. The Constitution, Rick, in the preamble, guarantees the right to have a defense, to make sure that you're safe and secure in this country, to provide for the common defense, is the exact quote. And we in this country have allowed crime to just escalate, violent crime, rapes, murders, illegal immigrants creating issues. And this presidency has made the determination that it is the Americans' right to be able to walk on the street at night, go enjoy a dinner, go enjoy a concert, whatever. Unfortunately, especially in blue cities, or what we call sanctuary cities and states, that has not been the case. It's not because they can't do that. If they wanted to dedicate the resources, they could do it. Oftentimes, philosophically, they won't. And so the president has said, okay, if you won't, we will. And he started here in D.C., federalizing D.C. No, he's not going to federalize every city in the country, but he set the example. We will send in additional federal law enforcement. We will send in National Guard if necessary. And Rick, we had to do that because when you consider this statistic, when Joe Biden was elected, we had 1.4 million officers across the country, sworn personnel. When he left, we had under 700,000. And so we just simply do not have the personnel to gain control again like we need to provide the safety the Americans deserve. So, it's their goal and objective to make sure we use whatever resource America has, including its armed forces, its National Guard, et cetera, to make sure we get it to a position and to a place where we could turn it back to just full law enforcement and the military is no longer needed. Now, I understand that some people get a little nervous about that. So, are we going to a military dictatorship? Of course not. We have no intent of doing that. So, we're gradually working it in. We have set the stage in DC. DC is the first one. It's been overwhelmingly successful. Nobody can argue with that, Rick. You realize in DC, zero murders for a full week? That's unheard of. And so we now have constituents all across the country in Chicago, New York, LA, and others sending in YouTubes to the White House saying, hey, don't forget us. Help us. Come here. Come here. And so we're setting the stage. We're sending the message again, as we did in DC. For 2 months, we told the mayor and city council in DC, you either fix it or we will. And they wouldn't. And so you got what you have now. We have stepped in and we are. We're sending the same message to the other sanctuary cities across the country. This is the number one issue in this country, is it safety and security. We're giving you another warning. Do whatever it is you need to do, whatever help you need, you contact and ask, we'll provide. But we're going to secure the cities and we're going to secure the American citizen. If you won't, for whatever reason, then bear in mind what you're seeing now is a rollout. We will do it across this country.
Wow, very insightful, Michael. Really appreciate those comments and that insight. Uh, is the plan, you suppose, to eliminate over time the federalization or to keep it in place permanently in DC?
No, we will eliminate it. We don't want to do that. That's not our goal and objective. Our goal and objective is to do exactly how we've got it laid out. You say, what is the layout that you have? We're going in doing a number of things. First of all, those illegal immigrants that are creating crimes, that have been creating crimes, and be terrorizing our citizens and cities for some time, we're picking them up and we're shipping them out. So they won't be here any longer to terrorize the city that they're in now. The second thing is those criminals who are American citizens. We're saying no more of this getting out on bail. You can go out and terrorize another 3 or 4 years before you get back in. We find you, we're sending you to jail, and you'll sit there and you'll await until your sentencing comes up. And then the third thing we're going to do, you see this out of Judge Janine, is we're going to have to address the youth element. Because right now, this is especially prevalent in DC, but it's in every major city, Chicago, Detroit, et cetera. Our young people, we have had liberal policies that have said, if you're from 14 to 18, go ahead and commit a crime. Worst thing that can happen to you, we'll sentence you. You'll get a year or two in a juvenile detention center, which is more like a youth club. And then the minute you're out, the minute you turn 18, we release you and expunge your record. It never happened. Now, what was their basis for doing that? Well, we're giving all of our young people second chances. Aren't we fantastic? No, here's what you've done, Rick. You sent a message to the young people that crime pays, especially from 14 to 18. There are no consequences to it. And then what usually happens is once they get involved in the criminal element from 14 to 18, it's become a lifestyle. And so we have actually done the opposite of what they wanted to do. We're creating criminals, not giving them second chances. And so you see Judge Janine is spearheading the effort across the country. Of course, she's the U.S. attorney for D.C., that we've got to change these laws to make sure that our young people, here's the basic impetus, Rick. If you're old enough to do the crime, you're old enough to do the time. Very simple. And that's the way we believe it should be.
Michael, we're almost out of time here, and I know you're in a tight schedule, so we'll keep it brief. Uh, how close are you in your communication with the White House?
We're making sure this thing gets rolled out in such a way that it's a balancing effort, Rick, because of just what I told you. You have a segment that doesn't want, you have to understand, nobody on the left wants this to succeed, because if people start to feel safe and secure, they don't care whether you're a Republican or Democrat. They're thankful that they can walk home on the streets at night. They've got midterm elections coming up. Rick, this thing is exploding with success. The last thing the left wants to see happening. So they're trying to do everything they can to paint it as a negative. It's a bad philosophy, a bad way to work. But yet on the other side, the flip side, on the Republican side, it's a positive venture. It's building our forces back, but we don't want to move too fast, because we all know how Americans are, Rick. None of us like change, okay? We like to gradually move into the water, test its temperature slowly but surely. So we're trying to be mindful of that and get the objective accomplished at the same time.
Michael Letts, founder, president, CEO of Invest USA. I thank you for joining us and giving us some very precise and informative insight.
Thank you, Rick. God bless you. God bless America. Keep up the good work. You're making a difference in this country.
Back with more after this.